What's up? I'm Lily Revenge Crown, brings you the stories that keep you hooked. If that sounds good, smash subscribe and let's go.
The timing couldn't have been more perfect. Or more devastating, depending on which side of the table you were sitting on. My family had gathered for my grandmother's 80th birthday at Lucia's, the upscale Italian restaurant my parents always chose for important occasions. The private dining room was packed with aunts, uncles, cousins, and family friends, about 30 people total. The kind of crowd my mother loved because it meant a larger audience for her favorite hobby, comparing her two daughters. I was the older one. The practical one. The one who'd chosen a safe career in corporate accounting instead of following my dreams. That's how Mom told it, anyway. The truth was more complicated, but truth had never been my mother's priority when a good narrative was available. Melissa was the golden child. The baby of the family. The one who'd gotten her master's degree in marketing from a prestigious private university. The one who now worked at a trendy startup downtown, lived in a renovated loft, and posted Instagram photos of weekend trips to wine country. We'd just finished the main course when Mom stood up, wine glass in hand, ready to make a toast. I felt my stomach tighten. Nothing good ever came from my mother's toasts. I want to take a moment to celebrate someone very special, Mom began, her voice carrying across the room. My youngest daughter, Melissa, has accomplished something remarkable. She graduated with her master's degree just over 2 years ago, and as of last month, she has completely paid off her student loans. Every single penny. $67,000 in just 24 months. The table erupted in applause. Melissa smiled, that practiced humble smile she'd perfected over the years. She ducked her head slightly, as if embarrassed by the attention, while clearly basking in it. In today's economy, with so many young people drowning in debt for decades, my daughter had the discipline and financial responsibility to become completely debt-free before her 27th birthday, Mom continued. I'm so incredibly proud of her. More applause. My Aunt Maria called out, "That's amazing, Mija." My Uncle Carlos raised his glass. Even my grandmother, who usually stayed quiet during Mom's speeches, was nodding approvingly. I sat there, fork frozen halfway to my mouth, feeling the familiar weight of being the supporting character in the story of my sister's success. Then my phone buzzed. I glanced down at the notification. Email from Sally Mae. I almost dismissed it, probably just another promotional message, but something made me open it. Subject: Loan payment confirmation, account #SLM447821. Dear Ms. Rodriguez. Thank you for your $67,000 payment on behalf of Melissa Rodriguez, account #SLM447821. This payment has been successfully processed and brings the total loan balance to $0. The account is now paid in full. We appreciate your business and your commitment to supporting education. I read it twice. Then a third time. The numbers assembled themselves in my mind like puzzle pieces I'd been trying to ignore for 2 years. The $2,800 monthly payments I'd been sending to an account Melissa had set up. The payments she'd said were for an investment opportunity we were doing together. The vague explanations whenever I asked for details. The way she changed the subject when I brought up her student loans, saying she had a plan and didn't want to talk about boring financial stuff. Mom was still talking. Melissa worked 2 jobs during grad school, and she's been living so frugally these past 2 years. No expensive vacations, no shopping sprees. She even kept her old car instead of upgrading. That's the kind of sacrifice and dedication that. I turned my phone screen to face the table. The people closest to me saw it first. My cousin Jennifer's eyes went wide. Uncle Carlos leaned forward, squinting at the screen. Then my father, sitting across from me, reached for his reading glasses and pulled my phone closer. His face went pale. "What is this?" he said quietly. Mom stopped mid-sentence. "What is what?" "This email," Dad said, his voice tight. "From Sally Mae. Thanking Carmen for a $67,000 payment. On Melissa's loans." The room went silent. Melissa's chair scraped against the floor as she stood up abruptly. "I need to use the restroom," she said, her voice high and strained. She practically ran from the room. Mom's face cycled through confusion, disbelief, and something that might have been understanding. "There must be some mistake. Carmen, why would you?" "There's no mistake," I said calmly. I'd found my voice now, and it was steady. I've been paying Melissa's student loans for the past 2 years. $2,800 per month for 24 months. That's $67,200 total. That's impossible, Mom said. Melissa told us she was paying them herself. She showed us her payment plan, her budget. Then she lied to you. I pulled up my banking app and started scrolling through my transaction history. Here. September 2023, $2,800 transferred to Melissa Rodriguez. October 2023, $2,800. November 2023, $2,800. I kept scrolling. Should I keep going? I have all 24 months documented. My Aunt Maria looked from me to my mother. I don't understand. Why would Carmen pay Melissa's loans? That was the question, wasn't it? The question I'd been avoiding asking myself for 2 years. Melissa came to me right after graduation, I explained. The words felt strange in my mouth, like I was telling someone else's story. She was panicking because her loan payments were starting, and the startup where she'd just gotten hired didn't pay much initially. She said she just needed help for a few months, until she got her first raise. Just enough to cover the minimum payment so she wouldn't default. I took a breath. She said if I helped her, she'd pay me back with interest once she was financially stable. She had a whole plan written out. It seemed reasonable. A few months, Dad repeated slowly. And this went on for 2 years. Every time I brought up ending the arrangement, she had a reason why she needed just a few more months. An unexpected expense. A delayed bonus. A problem with her car. And I kept believing her because she's my sister. Because family helps family. I heard the bitterness in my own voice. Because Mom always taught us that Melissa needed extra support since she was the younger one, the more sensitive one. Mom's face had gone from pale to flushed. Carmen, you should have told us. Told you what? That your perfect daughter wasn't actually managing her finances like a responsible adult? That the story you've been telling everyone about her discipline and sacrifice was completely made up. I shook my head. Melissa specifically asked me not to tell you. She said she was embarrassed and wanted to handle it privately. And I respected that. I kept paying, month after month, because I thought I was helping my sister become independent. Uncle Carlos cleared his throat. So when she showed us her budget and payment plan. All fake, I confirmed. The money she claimed was going to loan payments was probably funding her loft apartment, her wine country trips, her wardrobe. I was paying her loans while she built her Instagram perfect life. My cousin Jennifer was scrolling on her own phone now. Her Instagram has posts from Napa Valley, Big Sur, a weekend in Vegas, a shopping haul from Nordstrom, all within the past 6 months. She looked up. Carmen, while you were paying her loans, she was living like she had no financial obligations at all. The restroom door opened. Melissa stood in the doorway, her face blotchy from crying, mascara smudged. Carmen, can we please talk about this in private? No, I said simply. You made Mom announce your accomplishment in public. You accepted applause for something you didn't actually do. We'll discuss it in public too. She took a hesitant step toward the table. You don't understand. Then explain it to me. Explain it to everyone. You told me you needed help for a few months. You promised you'd pay me back. You swore you were being responsible and just needed a temporary safety net. I stood up now, my chair scraping back. Explain how that turned into 2 years of me funding your lifestyle while you took credit for paying off your loans yourself. Melissa's eyes darted to Mom, looking for rescue. Mom was staring at the table. I was going to pay you back, Melissa said weakly. I just needed to get more stable. You are stable, I cut her off. You make $73,000 a year now. Your startup did their Series B funding 6 months ago. You got a $15,000 raise. You told me all about it. You just never mentioned that you were planning to actually start paying your own loans. Or paying me back. Dad spoke up, his voice cold in a way I rarely heard. How much do you pay in rent, Melissa? Dad, I don't see how that's. How much? $2,000 a month, she whispered. And your car payment? I paid cash for the car. With what money? Dad's voice was rising now. If Carmen was paying your loans, and your rent is $2,000 a month, and your salary was initially $55,000, Where did you get cash for a car? Silence. The signing bonus, Melissa finally admitted. I got a $20,000 signing bonus when I joined the startup. I told Carmen it was only $5,000. I felt like I'd been punched. You lied about your signing bonus. You said you barely got anything, that you needed my help even more because you didn't have a financial cushion. I was building my emergency fund. With my money. The words burst out of me, louder than I'd intended. You built your emergency fund, your perfect apartment, your entire lifestyle with money I earned. Money I saved. Money I transferred to you every month because I thought I was helping you avoid defaulting on your loans and destroying your credit. My grandmother spoke for the first time. Carmen, querida, did this affect your own finances? I laughed, but it came out bitter. I've been living in the same studio apartment for 4 years because I couldn't afford to move. I drive a 2008 Honda with 160,000 miles on it. I haven't taken a vacation in 3 years. I've been putting off dental work I need because $2,800 a month is most of my discretionary income. I looked at Melissa. But at least you have a nice loft and a great Instagram feed. Mom finally found her voice. Carmen, why didn't you say something? If we'd known you were struggling. I wasn't struggling. I was managing. I was making a choice to help my sister. I felt tears burning behind my eyes but refused to let them fall. And every month when I sent that payment, I told myself it was worth it because I was preventing Melissa from drowning in debt, from making mistakes that would haunt her for years. I thought I was being a good sister. You were, Dad said quietly. You were being a much better sister than you received in return. Melissa was crying openly now. Carmen, I'm sorry. I know I should have been honest. The pressure was so much, and everyone expected me to be successful, and I couldn't admit I was struggling. So you let me struggle instead. The words hung in the air. Uncle Carlos shook his head slowly. This is unacceptable. Melissa, you need to pay your sister back. Every penny. I will, Melissa said quickly. I promise, I'll set up a payment plan. No. The word came out flat and final. Everyone looked at me. No more promises. No more payment plans. No more trusting you to do the right thing eventually. I pulled out my phone again and opened my banking app. I'm canceling the automatic transfer right now. As of this moment, I will never send you another dollar. I tapped through the screens, feeling a strange mix of relief and rage. And I don't want you to pay me back. Melissa's head snapped up. What? I don't want your money. I don't want a payment plan. I don't want to spend the next 5 years watching transfers come in and wondering if you're resenting me for holding you accountable. I looked directly at her. Consider it a gift. $6,000 to $7,000 for 2 years of thinking you had a sister who had your back. Now you know exactly what that support was worth. Carmen, that's not necessary, Mom started. Of course Melissa will pay you back. How? I asked. She makes $73,000 a year in one of the most expensive cities in the country. After taxes, that's maybe $4,500 a month take home. Rent is $2,000. Car insurance, utilities, food, phone, internet. She's probably got $1,000 left over each month if she's lucky. So it would take her, 5 years to pay me back? Maybe 6. I shook my head. I'm not spending 5 years as the bitter older sister with a spreadsheet tracking every payment. I'm not going to family gatherings where everyone's wondering if Melissa made this month's payment to me. I'm done. But Carmen, Melissa took a step toward me. I'm done, I repeated firmly. You don't owe me money anymore. But you also don't get to have me in your life. I'm not going to be available for your emergencies, your dramas, or your celebrations. I'm not going to be the person you call when you need something. I'm going to be your sister in name only. The room was completely silent now. Even the waitstaff had disappeared, probably sensing the tension and staying away. Dad cleared his throat. Carmen has every right to be angry. Melissa, what you did was dishonest and selfish. You manipulated your sister's generosity for 2 years. You lied to us, you lied to her, and you let her sacrifice her own financial stability so you could live a life you couldn't actually afford. I know, Melissa sobbed. I know, and I'm so sorry. Sorry doesn't pay Carmen back the $67,000, Uncle Carlos said bluntly. Sorry doesn't give her back the vacations she didn't take or the apartment she couldn't afford to rent. Mom was crying now too, dabbing at her eyes with her napkin. I don't understand how this happened. I don't understand how I didn't know. You didn't know because you didn't ask, I said quietly. You saw what you wanted to see. Melissa succeeding. Melissa being responsible. Melissa being everything you wanted her to be. And me. I trailed off. Me being exactly what I've always been. The practical one. The reliable one. The one who doesn't need special attention or praise because she just handles things. I picked up my purse. I'm going to leave now. Grandma, I'm sorry this ruined your birthday dinner. I love you. My grandmother stood up and came around the table to hug me. Mija, you didn't ruin anything. You told the truth. That's never something to apologize for. I hugged her back, breathing in her familiar perfume, feeling tears finally spilling over. Carmen, wait, Mom said as I pulled away from Grandma. We need to talk about this more. As a family. There's nothing more to talk about. Melissa made her choices. I made mine. Now I'm making a different choice. I looked around the table one more time. Everyone here heard Mom praise Melissa for something she didn't actually do. Everyone here applauded her for an accomplishment that was really mine. I just want you all to remember this moment the next time you hear her story. Remember who actually paid the price. I walked out of that restaurant and didn't look back. That night, my phone exploded with messages. Melissa sent 23 texts, each one more desperate than the last. Mom called 14 times. Dad sent a long email asking me to reconsider cutting off my sister. Extended family members weighed in with their opinions, most of them some variation of family is family and you should forgive her. I blocked Melissa's number. I sent Mom and Dad a single text, I need space. Please respect that. Then I turned off my phone and poured myself a glass of wine. 3 months later, I'm still getting occasional messages from family members telling me I'm being too harsh. That Melissa is really struggling now. That she had to move to a cheaper apartment. That she's working extra hours to cover all her own expenses for the first time in 2 years. That she's learned her lesson. I don't respond to these messages anymore. My bank account has an extra $2,800 in it every month now. I've started saving for a real vacation, 2 weeks in Portugal next spring. I'm getting quotes for moving to a nicer apartment. I scheduled that dental work. I'm even looking at newer cars, though my Honda is still running fine. But the best part isn't the money. It's the absence of the weight I didn't realize I was carrying. The weight of being responsible for someone else's choices. The weight of enabling someone who was never going to change as long as I kept making it easy for her. The weight of being the forgettable sister while Melissa basked in praise for things she hadn't earned. I don't regret helping Melissa when I thought she genuinely needed it. I regret that she was willing to let me sacrifice so much while she pretended to be something she wasn't. And I'll never regret walking away from that table, from that lie, from that version of myself that thought being useful was the same as being valued. Last week, I got a letter in the mail from Sally Mae. A courtesy notice that Melissa Rodriguez's student loan account had been paid in full, with a thank you note for my contribution to supporting education. I framed it. Not as a reminder of what I lost, but as proof of what I'm no longer willing to give to people who won't even acknowledge what they are taking. My mother called yesterday. She said Melissa is in therapy now, dealing with shame and family issues. She said maybe in a few months, we could all sit down and talk. I told her maybe. But probably not. Some bridges aren't worth rebuilding. Especially when you were the only one maintaining them in the first place.